Hey everybody, we'll get started here in a few minutes. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. All right, let's get us kicked off here. Thank you again, everyone, for jumping on. Really excited to share some new insights here at Groupon. Again, this was fairly short notice, so we appreciate everyone's quick turnaround here. I want to first introduce my colleague, Allison Marks, who's our local community manager. She'll actually be hosting this presentation. Right here. There we go. And my name is Rick Bastian, Regional Sales Director here at Groupon. And yeah, again, really excited to share some insights and some nuances that I think small business owners here throughout the Chicagoland area and quite frankly throughout the country and globally are going to love to see. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Allison to introduce herself. We'll get kicked off.
Well, again, I just want to extend a huge welcome to everybody on the webinar. My name is Allison, and it is 100% a pleasure to have you with us today. And definitely thank you for your time for joining us. But I want to introduce myself. My name is Allison, and I've been with Groupon for almost 8 years. I will give you a quick background. I started off really entry level and worked my way up to the next level and then on to another level of the sales roles here. One was a really cool like project management type of role where I got to experience a lot of pilot programs. And so this is something that is always near and dear to my heart. And I just absolutely love what we're doing with Chicago right now and Groupon. And a little bit more background on my overall sales career. I've been in sales for almost 23 years. I started originally with, at that time it was Clear Channel, and then it changed over to iHeartMedia. So I have an extensive background in newspaper sales. Most of my career was spent in national TV sales, where I did perfect timing Super Bowl commercials for Ford, Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, any automotive, you name it. And then I found my path to Groupon, which is really just the heart and soul of local business and getting marketing in front of you guys. So I will also kick it over to Rick to introduce himself and give his background.
Awesome. Thanks, Allison. So yeah, as mentioned, my name is Rick Bastian. Been in sales a little bit, actually not as long as Allison, which is kind of pleasant to say for once. So this spring will be 20th year anniversary. My first 10 years I spent with, at the time, was the AT&T Yellow Pages, and then branched off into, or went through a few different branding cycles. And when I left, it was actually called Dex Media. So, and then in 2015, took the leap and went to various other tech platforms such as Yext, Yelp, and then Uber, and all the while being in the small business space. So I also come from just a small business family. My dad was a contractor. My mom was a realtor. So very much sort of in tune with the SMB community. And again, I couldn't be more excited to share some of these new things that we have going on here at Groupon. So with all that, let's dive in. I'll pass it back over to Allison.
Okay, just to give you a brief overview of what the agenda will look like. Today, we're going to go over what's new at Groupon, how we work, and best practices for success, and merchant success stories. And then we'll wrap up the conversation with a Q&A. So you guys will have an opportunity to ask questions towards the end. So I'm going to go to that.
So in terms of the Q&A, I believe there's a chat area that you guys should be able to see in the app, or if you're streaming online. So feel free, as we're going through this, to ask, throw any questions that you want in the chat, and time permitting, we'll get to them at the end.
Okay, so let's start off with why we're different. So a lot of people have heard of Groupon many, many years ago, and we've kind of evolved. But the one thing that we started off with before was cost. We did a lot more limited pricing options, and now we're able to do more zero upfront costs. We're going to customize things and make sure that this is the right marketing plan, and gives you an opportunity to do the marketing that you need particular for your business. The next thing that we do a little bit differently is visibility. So what that means is just visibility was just not fully targeted. And now we've done a really awesome job and implemented a lot of new little bells and whistles along the way, and learned from our merchants from the previous campaigns to really target exposure. So that means we're really going to reach out to thousands of high intent customers that are actively looking for businesses just like yourself. So matching up the two worlds together to make sure that we're not only sending you customers, but sending you the right customers. The next thing that we do a little bit differently is the marketing. So before, it was a little less flexible in how we were offering and doing our promotions across the board. So it was really just cookie cutter. Now we are on a completely different path, and we've really created almost like an a la carte marketing campaign for you. So we're really going to pick and choose and put together our best of the best that's going to make sense for you, using our 360 engine or picking channels that are complementary to your business. So that's really something unique that not every company is going to offer to you. And the next thing is just insight. Fewer data points were optimized. Performance was available in our old years, and now we are just real-time data. Everything that you get is just fast-paced, a click of a button. You have all of the data at the access of your fingertips, and if you're not seeing it, there's somebody that's going to be their concierge to help you get that data or provide to you. So it's a really unique experience where we're constantly giving you updates, unlike where my background is traditional advertising with TV, and we weren't able to provide that for people. Still great, but Groupon's just on a whole nother level with giving you that information. As far as payments goes, in the past, we had very little flexibility in payment structures as well. Again, on to bigger and better things. Now we're doing bi-monthly payouts, and you get paid regularly, directly based into your sales. So what that means is if we're producing a customer, we're going to give you a payment for whether it be the 1st and 15th and 31st, but you will get paid twice a month for the services that you provide and actually gain a customer. So overall, what you'll get with us now is just more visibility. Huge thing to really reiterate is just zero risk. There's not much risk at all, if any, just trying Groupon. We really want to connect with local businesses to make sure that this is a unique experience that's going to be very pleasurable, and you guys will really enjoy the experience, unlike traditional marketing.
That's great calls, Allison. And again, I think from my perspective, being in the space for as long as I have, and again, going through the different iterations of print media and then getting into the digital world, right? Like, I think one of the things that's always a bit worrisome from a small business perspective is that level of risk, right? Almost every other form of marketing, there's some upfront cost, right? There's some risk, or there's some bet, if you will, that you have to put down in order to get started. What I love about our programs and what we've really catered to is the folks that might not necessarily have that investment right away, right? So ultimately, there's really nothing up front. We're sending you dollars on a bi-monthly basis based on the performance of your campaign, based on how many actual Groupons that we sold. Now, that being said, the Groupon has to be done and set up in a way that's extremely beneficial for your business in terms of, again, making sure that we're filling your capacity and not overfilling your capacity, quite frankly. So that's one thing that I think what you would realize that we're doing much differently now than perhaps in the past, is that we are so much more merchant friendly, merchant first, now and always. And in order for us to continue to get back into this market, those are the relationships that we're looking to reestablish, quite frankly. So really excited, again, to share more of this information. I'd say, though, once again, I think just the ability for folks to come in and really see an impact to their bottom line without having that any sort of outgoing cost in order to make that happen.
Okay, so the next thing that I would love to go over with you guys is just discovery and exposure channels. So in the past, what we would know for is discount platforms and not really a partner with our local businesses. What we do now is completely different. It is the experience of partners lending experienced hands. So what that means is that we're really going to be your concierge through this whole entire experience. And for the customer side, they're going to receive the types of deals that they really want to see and not just thrown up on the wall. So it's very curated.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I think in this new world of AI and data segmentation, our ability to whether it's through email, through text, to really target folks that are looking ultimately based on the search experience, search history, the right deal, right? We sort of have a model here in terms of, the 4 R's essentially, right? So we want to work with the right merchants, with in the right market, with the right deal, which obviously to find you the right customer. And that's ultimately how we go to market. And again, it's not this sort of spray and pray approach, which is what you'll see, for instance, putting coupons in the newspaper, or putting coupons in more of a standard platform. What we're doing is being very specific in terms of getting you the exact customer for the service that you want, down to the service level, which again, it's very unique in regards to our competitors. To kind of continue here, one thing I want to just mention too, and again, obviously for the last few years with COVID, it's been rough, right? Not only here in Chicagoland, but really across the globe, candidly, for a lot of us small businesses. And we definitely had our fair share of concerns as well. One thing we did just want to point out though, and again, this is all just local to Chicagoland area, the suburbs and city. We're still driving over almost 1,900,000 unique visits to the platform every month. This data is for January 2025. We've generated over 38,000 transactions, and we've put back into the community of small business 1.7 million back into the pockets of our clients and our customers. So we're still here. We're still very relevant. The hope is with this new project and really going out and having a merchant first approach, in addition to other advertising avenues and things that we're looking to do, we're looking to 2, 3, 4, 10x these numbers in the near future. But we're still here. We still definitely are, benefiting our merchants. Over the next few quarters, you're going to see a lot more of that. So again, I think it just sort of speaks to, once again, the targeted visibility, the no upfront cost, a la carte marketing for total flexibility. I think that's really interesting. We're going to go into that here in a slide, which all the different areas where your Groupon will appear, right? Not just on Groupon.com, right? And I think that's really interesting in regards to how to leverage our not only just our platform, but our 360 marketing that allows you to put your business and your service of your business, again, where people are specifically looking for it, with again, with no risk ultimately. So again, if we sort of look at how Groupon is measured against other sorts of advertising, digital ads, SEO, email marketing, which by the way, I think there's an element of benefit to all of these mediums, right? Between Allison and myself and most of the staff here, We worked in these areas, and there's absolute benefit to it. I think what's just important to point out is just how we differentiate. And again, I think with any sort of marketing, right, you want to mix. Marketing in most avenues, there is an element of risk, right? We mitigate that risk by making smart, informed decisions. And that's, again, part of what we can help bring to the table in regards to how, we structure our campaigns, how we structure our deals. In addition to, in some cases, we are the only advertising platform or revenue generating platform for our clients. In other cases, we're a piece of it. Regardless, we're going to help you find the right mix and ultimately where we fit in. And I think once again that merchant first approach, I think is going to be a fresh breath of fresh air for folks that might have worked with us in the past. One thing too, and Allison mentioned it, is just our ability to leverage our data. As you can imagine, 19 million subscribers to our email, hundreds of thousands of millions of unique views to our platform. That allows us to collect a tremendous amount of proprietary data that ultimately we can give back to our merchants in terms of making data informed decisions in regards to not only just how to best optimize the Groupon experience, but then you can leverage that data for other avenues that you might have. And all of this, to Allison's point earlier, is at your fingertips. It all lives in our merchant center, which we'll walk through here just shortly. Okay, so I'll actually pass back to Allison, and she can walk you through how Groupon actually works.
Yes, I'm sure plenty of you guys are first timers here, but if you're not, we do work a little differently than we have in the past. So let's walk through that. First of all, we are going to customize and design an actual campaign for you. So what that's going to be is a very just advisory type of experience. We're going to sit down, talk to you guys, and design a particular deal with the services that we feel are the best suited for your marketing needs as well as our customers, because we want to make sure that marries to each other. The next thing is to, once we've gone through all the steps of showing you what services we can offer, we're going to give you an agreement and you'll just sign it. It's non-binding. It's not a time frame that you have to run forever. So it's really flexible on that aspect as well. And you're going to take a look at it, review it, and if it works and looks good, then we're going to prepare it to get ready for you. Once that's done, and we've gone through all the photos and making sure the deal pages look really nice and beautiful for our customers and to represent you guys very well, we're going to go ahead and launch it after you've given us the okay and said, this looks so great, we are ready to roll. So from that part of the process, then it's launched. So that means we've got active live customers viewing and purchasing your Groupon deals, and now they're coming into your store. So you're probably thinking, well, they're coming in with these vouchers. What do I do now? We have a redemption program where basically they'll show either their voucher on your phone and you'll easily swipe it and it's done in a matter of 2 seconds. It's just as easy as tapping a card on the register, just like a normal checkout. And then finally, the last part of the ecosystem is your payment. So you will get paid out for everything that you have given service to. So we'll do all the marketing up front and we will do all of that for no additional cost, and we'll actually send you money, which is, like Rick said, something that nobody else that I've ever worked for, whether it's TV, print, or whatever other marketing, there's always some sort of out-of-pocket cost, but we're not doing that unless we are actually producing a customer.
So just again, in very simple terms, what would a normal, or I should say, just an example deal structure look like? And again, just for the sake of simple math, ultimately, what we want first and foremost is go through a full deep dive needs analysis. Understand, where's your low points, where's your areas throughout the week that you're looking to fill time, whether that's filling seats at the restaurant, whether that's filling bays at the nail salon or in the massage area. So again, ultimately, we want to cater it so it's going to benefit your business. And it's fairly straightforward, right? So you have a set dollar amount, let's just say $10. That would be the full value of your service. We'd ask you to take a little off that to entice the consumer to then purchase that Groupon. We would then take a small percentage of that actual amount paid, and then you would receive the remittance amount every 2 weeks. Ultimately, once we set the Groupons live. So again, it's very straightforward. Now, that being said, for forever, right? Like Groupon, we were known for, in terms of how we work with our customers, very straightforward, 50-50 split in terms of margin, 25 to 30 some percent discount, or in some cases even 50% discount. We've restructured that. We've taken a look at that because that's not going to work for absolutely every business, right? In some cases, when you have, let's say, a small dollar amount per unit, that's that can be pretty hard, right? Where we'd have to really put bets down that individual consumers can actually come back into your store to justify that expense. So we are very much more flexible in regards to looking at that discount, in terms of looking at that from a margin perspective. And what we feel is ultimately, yes, we might get a little bit less upfront, but we're going to work with our merchants much longer, and they're going to be happier, because that's ultimately what we're looking to do, right? We're looking to set up long-term relationships that make sense for all parties involved, and that, quite frankly, will start with the merchants like yourself. Here's some insights. Again, this is all lives within the Merchant Center that you guys obviously would have access to, just in regards to the revenue that's generated, the amount of impressions that your Groupon received, the amount of redemptions, if there were any refunds. That again, that's all something that's very transparent in regards to how we operate. And then in addition to that, we're also going to share with you some demographic information in regards to who the Groupon user actually was, where they came from, what mode of advertising or what mode of marketing did they use to actually find you and find the Groupon, make the purchase. And all those insights, again, are things that you can use in other areas of your marketing. Right. And again, this is all in real-time data in regards to how you can see how your Groupon performs, and then ultimately who is that person that's coming in. And that will also help you then tie that back into maybe a CRM system or maybe a point of sale system that can share that can show, okay, this person came in with the Groupon on the 1st, and then they actually came back on the 12th. Without a Groupon, and they became a full-time customer. So those are all insights that again, we've had for quite some time, but ultimately what we're looking to do is really make sure that our merchants understand the data that's available to them, not only for the Groupon experience, but for your marketing experience as a whole. I'll pass back to Allison. I think we have one or two more slides, and then we can dive into some questions.
So let's go over just the best practices for your success. We are going to work with you really closely to create a very attractive offer that's going to make sense for your business needs as well as Groupon, and our customers as well. Discounts of at least 50% is what we normally are used to, but for this particular Chicago experience, we are going to really work with you guys and customize something that makes sense for you. Focusing on timing. So we want to make sure that we're launching deals in the peak of the season for your business, because we really want to drive that business to you. And from there, they should have an awesome experience and want to return over and over and over again. So you want to try to also create a retention plan while running in tandem with Groupon. So we'll get you the customers. They're going to have a wonderful experience with you guys, give great reviews, and tell their friends, and word of mouth will continue to go on. So after that, delivering an exceptional customer experience is just kind of what I was talking about. We are sending you people that you can identify as a Groupon customer. You should be welcoming them with open arms, because you already know this is exactly how we got you there. And so we want to make sure that they have a wonderful time, an awesome experience, because they're able to also give glowing reviews on your deal page, which can go really far away as far as the experience. And again, just word of mouth spreading. And the last thing is just monitoring performance and adjustments. So we want to use Groupon analytics to track sales and your ROI. So again, this is unlike any other traditional marketing that I've ever been a part of, where you can actually see where your dollars are being spent. So I'm producing a customer for you that's actually a Groupon customer. Unlike when you do a billboard, millions of eyes can be seen on that billboard, but we don't really know if they came from a billboard, if it came from TV or radio. But with Groupon, you are absolutely able to identify your ROI and track your sales that way.
All right, so let's continue here. I think we have, a couple of merchant success stories. Allison, you want to dive in?
So many of our success stories in Chicago, you go all across the city and you can walk into a Groupon partner and they're going to really tell you how much they've enjoyed working with us currently and in the past. So the one thing that they have had challenges of were merchants in the past struggled to remain top of mind in the very competitive and completely super saturated market. The solution is Groupon offering just a slight discount, whether it's 25% off of a massage or facial package. And then from there, we're able to provide many new customers in 6 months. So this particular story, they saw about 500 new customers over the duration of the first portion of their year using Groupon, and also saw $50,000 in generated revenue for them. So that was a really great experience for them, as well as positive customer reviews and just increasing the overall brand. So we're just letting people know, maybe they're new to the city, maybe they moved to a neighborhood and want to find their local place to go get a massage. This is a perfect avenue and marketing place for that.
And we had one other merchant success story we wanted to share. And again, if you look at the types of businesses and categories that we are really good at, it's obviously businesses that are offering an experience, right? Whether that's beauty and wellness, whether that's food and drink, home and auto, right? Like car washes, oil changes, and then also what we call TTD or things to do, right? From festivals to different live events, all the way, from a small, neighborhood party with local bands, all the way up to live sporting events, in addition to hotels and different types of hospitality. So that's sort of where our niche is in regards to the folks that we work with. Here's just a real quick story in regards to a local restaurant that we work with here in Chicago. Again, fairly straightforward, right? The Groupon offer was for $40 for a $50 meal. So ultimately, given a little break to the customer with $10, we sold 300 deals in 2 weeks. 40% of the customers returned within 3 months without using the voucher, and a 10% increase in average ticket size for Groupon customers. And if you think about that experience, right? So they're ultimately getting a $50 meal, $50 off. So that's going to ultimately for just in regards to that experience, that's what they're ultimately going in right with. Now, granted, they paid $40 for that. So ultimately, they're getting an extra 10. But that 10 can be another appetizer. That 10 could be, another glass of wine, or in some cases, a different entree. So that just sort of adds up to that experience. And as we all know, folks are enjoying themselves, having a good time, more likely for their ticket sizes to be even higher. So that's why we see so much success within the food and drink industry and with that category across many others as well. So, again, this is, the project, the Chicago project, as we called it, really just launched this last month in January, sort of with this new approach to getting after, the Chicago market. And again, this is where we were founded, right? Like this is where everything started. And, we've realized over the last few years, just with COVID and other things, and quite honestly, with our global expansion that we've been, seeing, really solid success with, across the pond, if you will. There's definitely been some opportunity now to re-engage with our core markets, and obviously we're starting right here with Chicago. So in addition to, obviously we have a full in-house staff of sales and account managers. We're also reintroducing an outside sales function, where we are assigning our team to specific areas, not only throughout the city but also throughout the suburbs, where they're acting as community managers that can go out and meet with our local merchants and really get an understanding of how things have been over the last few years, and what do they need from Groupon, how can we cater to their ultimately to help from a business perspective. So if you haven't seen us yet, we're coming. We'll be out there, but again, it's really just to come out, introduce ourselves, and find out how we can help ultimately. In addition, obviously we're coming into February and March and springtime, when Chicago finally opens back up, and we start getting some better weather, and what comes with that is events and opportunities for folks that are kind of coming out of hibernation. And there's these different things that we would love to work with you on, whether it's obviously Valentine's Day is coming up. We have St. Patrick's Day, which is obviously a huge event here in Chicago, and then spring break, and then Easter, and all the different things that come into the spring. So just sort of an FYI in regards to us being able to cater a message, being able to cater a Groupon experience around these events that are coming up. And quite frankly, this another really key to what we can leverage is our turnaround time, right? So from beginning of the conversation till the deal goes live, our SLA are on average is around 6 to 7 days, which is pretty incredible if you think about sort of all the back end things that needs to happen. So in fairly short amount of time, we can start filling up booths, filling up seats, getting finding areas within your business that we can help elevate. So all that being said, we really want to thank you guys for your time. We're actually just 1 minute over, darn it. But I would, again, just from Allison, I just really appreciate everyone's time and attention here. What we'll do is we'll have your questions actually in the queue. So we'll reach out whether with your rep that's assigned to your account, or we will reach out personally to answer any questions that you have. And then also, obviously, probably the reason why a lot of folks are here, we do have the $500 raffle. So we will be doing the raffle here offline, and then when we send our follow-up email thanking everyone, we'll identify the winner of that raffle. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. My name again is Rick Bashan, Regional Director here at Groupon, and for Allison Marks. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to connect, and please don't hesitate to reach out. And you'll be hearing from us. But again, thank you guys so much for your time, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Bye.